Hi there.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
I know it's been a while. How are you, Yolie?
I'm fine. Glad to be here.
Thank you so much for coming.
Your intro is very nice. Your intro is very good.
Thanks so much. Thank you. I'm in the middle of changing stuff, so it has the old font, so I didn't get time to kind of redo it with the new font.
That's good.
Hi, everyone. Let's say hello to everyone quickly, and while I coordinate myself. Thank you so much, Blue Moonlight.
Hi, CJ.
And CJ. Hi, CJ.
I thought you were going to be with us today, but I guess not. He's modding.
So the last time you and I spoke was actually on CJ's show, right? I think it was the plea hearing, and we both said that we needed a little bit of time to marinate and come to terms with things. So how did that go for you?
I took it. I had to see what other criminal defense attorneys were saying about it, because I'm a civil lawyer and I don't want to speak out of turn. So essentially what I've learned is basically that the goal is to take the death penalty off the table. That's always the goal when the death penalty is on the table. But, there's no way to do that unless you plea. Because they're not just going to take it off the table and say, okay, we'll take it off the table, but we'll go to trial. They're not going to do that. And because of those of us who have been invested in this case, we see that we see what's happened in the details of the case, that it was just hard to believe that he pled guilty. And now that the documents are coming out, I can see why Ann Taylor brought that alternative suspect motion. I can totally see it. And what I did want to explain, and I think I talked to you about it a little bit on Discord, is the hearsay that is in the documents. So I can just explain that, and then we can go on into the documents if you want. So I was going to make a video and haven't had a chance, but a lot of people, they see these reports and their interviews of witnesses and their notes. It's the detective's notes of the interviews. And in some cases, they recorded the interviews, which that would be the best evidence to hear the recorded interview. And in some cases, they did not. They just had notes. But what happens is the officer's reports are not admissible in trial. And the reason is because they contain hearsay upon hearsay. And what hearsay is you have someone listening to someone else tell them about what someone else told them. So it's kind of like third hand, it's like, oh, well, such and such told me this. Okay. And then you got to go to such and such. But if such and such doesn't want to talk, if the other person doesn't want to talk, for instance, they plead the fifth or they get an attorney, then you're stuck. right? You can't get that information. And I think that's what Ann Taylor was struggling with, is trying to get that information. And I know that in the alternate suspect motion hearing, she, the judge said that the bulk of it was hearsay. And now I know that it was probably based on those police reports. And so she needed time to further try to get people to talk. But the problem is if she's reaching out, people won't talk to her. And I remember she said she had a hard time having, people talk to her, witnesses and things like that. And so what the judge did was he made a factual finding that the person drove there to the crime scene. And so these people lived near the house. And he said, basically, it's irrelevant because we know that the unaliver drove there. Well, that's a question for the jury, I thought. And then he further said that it was irrelevant because none of those people had a white Elantra. And so, which is also so I disagreed with his ruling, but you see, when Brian Kohberger pled guilty, he's waived that ruling. I mean, he's waived everything, and he only has a limited, basically, a limited avenue to appeal, and it's probably not going to work. So that kind of disturbed me. That's why I was kind of like, I needed to digest this all. And so you see that she did have some basis to bring that motion, but she couldn't get to the people to try to get that evidence to support the basis for to support the police report. And I know that one of the persons, who was JD, had his fingerprints taken in May of 2025. In one of the reports, it mentioned that JD had his fingerprints taken in May of 2025, and I bet that was for the alternative suspect motion. But you see, she needed more time to develop it, especially when people aren't talking, So the judge allowed her to question the witness, the detectives, but if she was going to name a suspect, then she needed to get permission from him before naming it in court. So he did allow her that leeway, but it's not really leeway because he's already ruled two things: that one, it's a hearsay, and two, that it's irrelevant. So even if she were able to overcome the hearsay, he would have, the prosecution would object as relevance. Your Honor, you made a ruling and you said it was irrelevant. This is irrelevant. It's going to confuse the jury. And so she was kind of stuck. She was stuck. So, excuse me.
Yeah.
So I kind of understand what happened there. But at the same time, I mean, he would have had an avenue to appeal that had he not pled guilty. So those are my thoughts on that.
Yeah, and I mean, that is interesting. It's interesting that you say that because I mean, I've seen a lot of videos coming out on YouTube where people have been reading through the reports and then kind of taking those interviews as statements, kind of forgetting that it's actually a police officer's statement about what he spoke to somebody about. So, I mean, when she said that the alternative suspect came from a tip, that was already probably hearsay, right? Just by virtue of being somebody's phone call, probably. Yeah. And I mean, she's also, like, we've heard her say a number of times that she was struggling to get people to speak to her.
Yes.
And I mean, I know she was referring to that more in the death penalty phase of things, but I'd imagine that's probably, like, it's very difficult. A lot of people don't want to be associated with the defense. So I can kind of see the position that she's been in. Yeah.
I mean, she was able to talk to one person, and it was somebody that lived in the neighborhood that had some guy with a mask come and knock on her door. She interviewed that person. And yeah, she did. There was before the unalivings, there was a guy that came and knocked on the door, and he had this mask on. I don't know if you remember that.
To be honest, no.
Yeah, she did interview him or her. And basically, she just said that this person came, knocked on her door. She had the ring cam of it. And so it just looked like a plastic mask. It wasn't a ski mask. It looked like those plastic Halloween masks that you put on. And it was around the time of Halloween, so I don't know.
Well, yeah, I guess that does complicate things as well.
Yeah.
Throw Halloween into everything.
Right? Oh my God.
So some of the documents that you said you did want to look at was number 36 and 37 and 47, 41. Are you still interested in those, or do you want
to? We can talk about this.
Okay. Like I said, I'm still coordinating. Sorry.
I'm over here struggling with my eyes.
No, don't struggle.
The air quality is so bad.
Is that because of like weather and fires and stuff?
Weather, yeah.
Okay, let me get to 36. Okay, so this is the Moscow police.
Right.
One. I know that there's other agencies that have come out with a lot of information, and I mean, I'm going to obviously take the time to go through all of that, but this is kind of so much. I wasn't expecting ISP to be more, like that much is what I mean.
Yeah. Because they were helping.
Yeah, it seemed, I must say, like, I was really kind of very impressed with their like investigation or help thereof. Is this even working? There we go.
Okay, this is 36, yeah. So this document is interesting. Let me put it. Okay, we scroll.
Okay. There we go.
Okay, so this is interesting because in addition to other agencies being involved, we have I know I saw in the state police documents, Homeland Security was involved, Idaho State Police was involved, the FBI was involved, Moscow PD was involved, and at some point the sheriffs were also involved, at least when it came to the dog Murphy. Now this involves the University of Idaho Civil Rights and Investigations. And so on 11/22/22, I guess this is Tyson Barrett, he met with blank blank at the University of Idaho Office of Civil Rights and Investigations. And he provided this person with a new USB storage device to which she saved documents pertinent to the investigation. So when, like, well, what I think they should have done is gotten a search warrant for those documents or gotten some kind of search warrant rather than just going in there, giving a flash drive and having the person download things. I would think that the police would want to do that. I don't know if that's how it works, but it just seems strange. And then it says later on, 10 minutes later, Tyson Barrett met with FBI agent Alex Skelton at the police department, and he gave Agent Skelton the USB storage device containing the documents provided. So it looks like there was some kind of civil rights investigation going on at the University of Idaho, which at the time, and I don't know if it's still ongoing, but at the time was related or could have been related to these unalivings of the 4 Idaho students.
What? I mean, look, okay, so I mean, I come from a country where there's not as many like
Agents.
divisions. Yeah, like I mean, we have something that would be regional, and we do have something countrywide, but we don't have all of this. What would be a civil rights investigation?
Yeah, so the every university has to have a separate office for to investigate civil rights complaints. Okay, so this university has a civil rights division, and there's actually another federal division that's actually nothing to do with the university that is called the Office of Civil Rights Investigations. So this is like a branch of that. Okay, even though it's at a university, it's kind of like a branch of that. So any civil rights investigations would go to the state and the federal level. So the University of Idaho gathers the information regarding the complaint and then gives it to either the state and or the federal civil rights office. And as we'll go further with this, you'll see that that all of the documents pertaining to this civil rights complaint or investigation is given to the FBI. So that leads me to believe that there was a federal civil rights investigation. And those types of investigation usually involve gender discrimination, race discrimination, preferential treatment, type things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say perhaps it had something to do with Kohberger, but I see it's U of I. It's not.
Yeah, and it also has to do with police violating the rights of students. It could also include that. And I thought in my mind, and this is complete speculation, so it's an opinion, it's not fact, that you had these police officers creeping around and stopping students and going to noise complaints when there wasn't a noise complaint call, things like that I'm wondering if somebody reported them and that they were violating their rights by constant. I mean, they were saying, oh, you're going to get a ticket, right? That ticket's going to be $300, right? Is that right? Yeah, it's going to be $300. And all the interactions, and we only know those interactions because they were videotaped on the body cam, but there may have been other interactions that we don't know about.
Probably.
So that I thought of that, but I don't know if that's what it's related to.
Yeah, and I mean, this is interesting just in terms of like chain of custody, because you did say that you would have expected them to get a warrant for that, but it seems they were just handing it over. I mean, there's no document about a warrant for this, right? That we've seen.
Not that I'm aware of. No. But it looks like they were just getting the information and letting the university download it into a storage device and then giving it to the FBI.
Yeah, and it's not even FBI directly. It's going through an intermediary.
Well, it's going to the Moscow PD. He saved a USB storage. He brought a USB storage device to the so-and-so LE at the U of I Office of Civil Rights. And then he says, which she saved the documents pertinent to the investigation. Okay.
Well,
then
at least he brought a flash drive and didn't ask to borrow one of hers. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. And then after that, he met with FBI agent Skelton and gave the USB storage device to the FBI. So Moscow PD now did not have anything related to this civil rights investigation, but it gets better if you go through the other. I mean, it gets more clear what's going on.
Okay, we will see. CJ says Captain Champs. Forgot about that. Mr. Barrett. It's plausible deniability when it comes to the shared leak info. Leaked info, we didn't know they downloaded the info off the flash. Yeah, I mean, because that is like, it's so complicated, you know, like chain of custody is supposed to be a little bit less back and forth than that, I would expect.
Right. And, it's not like they're emailing, like in a secure server, emailing information back and forth. They're putting it on a drive.
Yeah.
It's now there's ways to send things securely, and the FBI is using an intermediary to get the information. They're using Tyson Barrett.
Yeah. I mean, I think that is weird. Now that because I mean, I wouldn't have caught that. I read that document and I was like, I don't know what this is about, and I kind of moved on. But yeah. Let me get to 37. So StreamYard has changed some things since I was last on here, and it doesn't look the same. So
I know it doesn't look the same for me either.
Sorry, everyone.
Let me see. Maybe I can. If you have trouble pulling. Let me see. I think the next document.
It's 37, yeah?
Let me see. Yes, 37.
There we go. We get there.
Okay. Let me make this bigger. Okay. All right. So this one is on 11/23, which is the next day. Let's see.
Should I go from narrative?
Yeah, narrative. That's fine. Let me see if there's anything up above that I wanted to. No, he's picking up files. Rosinski OCRI files pickup. I'll watch. So on the 23rd of November, Agent Alex Skelton with the Federal Bureau of Investigation requested files to be picked up from the Office of Civil Rights and Investigations. Now, in this particular document, they don't say that it's the U of I Office of Civil Rights and Investigations. Now, you remember in the other document, they said the U of I Civil Rights and Investigations. In this one, they just say OCRI, which is a federal agency. And to me, I think this is a federal agency. It's not. It's not quite clear actually, because it could be the university, but it could also mean the actual federal agency. But in any event, so Alex Skelton asks this officer to, and the way it's written, I'll just read it. On 11/23/22, Agent Alex Skelton with the Federal Bureau of Investigation requested files to be picked up from the Office of the Civil Rights and Investigations. Agent Skelton provided me with 2 thumb drives, HP and ScanDisk. I transported the thumb drives to OCRI, where I met with LE. So that looks like it is the university, because those are the same initials. Where I met with LE, Deputy Director of OCRI. And then it says, E downloaded files onto the ScanDisk thumb drive. Once complete, E gave me the ScanDisk thumb drive, and I transported both of the thumb drives back to the Moscow Police Department. I returned both thumb drives to Agent Skelton. So again, he's going, and who is this? This is Rosinski. So he is going over there to giving a disk, downloading it. He's like the middleman, and then giving it to the FBI. So I just find it strange, because normally, if you wanted files from a university, you could get a search warrant for them or subpoena them. But if it pertains to sensitive information, you would probably have to get a search warrant, and maybe they would have to redact certain things. I'm not sure, but I just find it strange that these flash drives are going from university, Moscow PD to the FBI.
Yeah, and also that they're being downloaded by a person within that
Yes.
organization, not that they're doing it themselves. Because I mean,
Right.
how are
Right.
they supposed to know that they're putting that correct amount? Like, what's their authority to do that?
Exactly. And then I'll tell you let me see, the next document. The next document is 53.
Oh, 53. One second. The plausible plan.
Yeah.
I'll just find that quickly.
Okay. Now this
Tyson Barrett.
yeah. Okay, so here we go. This is Tyson Barrett, yeah. So on 12/5, so this is now the next month, he met with LE at the U of I Office of Civil Rights and Investigation. He provided E with a USB flash memory drive, and she downloaded information that was requested by the investigation team. Okay, so we now know that the investigation team requested more information from the University of Civil Rights Office, and that this LE downloaded it. And he said, I returned to the police department and gave the USB drive to MT with the FBI. So again, all of this stuff regarding the university is going to the FBI through the Moscow Police Department.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm definitely going to look into what kind of investigations go on there. I mean, I suppose it could be a variety of things, but it's interesting how it would fit in with this case at all.
Well, I don't know, but I do know that. Well, it'll get clear when we go. It'll get clear because when I saw that, I thought, what the heck? Why is the Office of Civil Rights involved? And then, and we don't know who. Like, we don't know if it was a student or a faculty member. And the reason why I say faculty member is because then you'll see later on in the documents, they ask for information regarding pay, like the level of pay or something like that. And you'll see it in the next document. Let me just in the two documents that follow.
So it was kind of like salary information that they were asking for, and that was again connected to this same organization.
Correct. Let me see. The next one is 71.
71. Hey, Sarah. Good to see you. I just have the comments off the screen so that we can read for a little bit, and then I will.
Yeah, that's fine.
Did you say 71? My memory is so bad sometimes. You'll say 71, and then I'll go and open up like 70.
It's okay.
Hold on.
Okay, now here again, this is on 12/12. The Idaho State Police, Detective Lake, asked Tyson Barrett to request information from U of I OCRI regarding a RAPE involving U of I students that was reported in 2021, and it's plural. It's U of I students.
Yeah.
Okay, so then it goes on to say, I emailed the request, and this is a different person. This isn't LE. Remember, the other one that was for the Office of Civil Rights was LE. So it says, I emailed the request to KN with U of I Office of General Counsel. So now they're dealing with the counsel, the attorney for the University of Idaho, which leads me to believe that there was something that could have created liability for the university. Not that there was liability, but there was something there that could have that might have created some kind of liability with the university, and so the university got their attorney involved, the general counsel.
Okay. I mean, that wouldn't be unusual, though, would it, for them to want their general counsel involved after these requests have been made, like relating to civil rights stuff? Or
No, it wouldn't be unusual, except for the fact that the first few documents they got, it was very informal in terms of he went
okay,
to the civil rights place. He gave a disc. She downloaded stuff and gave it to him, and then he gave it to the FBI. But you see, now the Idaho State Police is involved in this. Okay,
yeah. So
go ahead.
no. I mean, so how does that differ? Like Idaho State Police, what would have alerted them to the situation with MPD and the FBI getting information that way? Like,
well, it's interesting because ISP was not involved, and now all of a sudden they are involved in requesting information, and they want information from the Civil Rights Office regarding this incident. Okay, so now the general counsel gets involved. So did Idaho State Police learn something? Oh, well, did Idaho State Police learn something? And then they decided to get the information themselves?
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
because that would be in their capacity as assisting with the investigation.
So it sounds like like they weren't working together, because presumably what was obtained should have been shared with everybody, the investigative team, right? What was obtained earlier, the drives, what was downloaded on the drives, by the person in the civil rights office, presumably that would have been shared with everybody, right? But it wasn't. It was just the MPD giving it to the FBI. So perhaps Idaho State Police got word of it, and they wanted the information, and then that's when they got their general counsel involved, the university.
Okay. And I mean, in terms of the actual offense, I mean, it sounds like
something involving U of I students that was reported in 2021. Okay, then the next day on 12/13, he received it doesn't say what, LE, and now they're talking to this person at the OCRI, U of I, indicating that she had the information I requested. I met with E in her office at about 12:15 hours and provided her with a USB flash memory drive. E said the information, the information to the drive and gave it to me. So now we're having the Office of Civil Rights download it to a USB flash memory drive and give it to him. And then it says at 12:30, I returned to the police department and gave the flash memory drive to so-and-so with the FBI. So you have a request from ISP. You would think that because the ISP was requesting it, that it would go back to the ISP.
Yeah, yeah. And also, I mean, in terms of these requests, I mean, there's no actual documentation or form filled out of what they're requesting, right? we're just learning from here.
We don't know what information it is. And, that's why I'm saying a search warrant would have been, because, I mean, they can get this information. It might have to be redacted in terms of personal stuff for the police, but they're the police. They're, and they can do a search warrant to get information from the university. They're trying to do it amicably, like informally, and it just seems like they're using a third person, and it's almost like they want all this stuff to the university, all this stuff regarding the university documents to go directly to the FBI. So it's being, and I don't know if that information was shared with the Idaho State Police, or, if Moscow PD even had that information, because the whole flash drives are being given to the FBI.
Yeah. And it's still strange that the FBI is not just doing that themselves.
Well, yeah, what would be, I mean, they're helping, right?
Sounds like directing, but yeah, I mean, I suppose that would make sense.
Okay, let me.
Sorry, I haven't been able to go through any of the docs at all since they dropped, so I don't have any knowledge on that yet.
Okay.
Oh, that's okay. This is actually, we're still going through like MPD stuff. This is not even the new.
Yeah. This isn't even the new stuff. Yeah. Okay, so this was, okay, so then let me go to, what was the next document? 126.
One of these days I'll get faster. It's okay. Please don't be confused.
No.
We haven't even started. Like, I haven't even looked at Pullman stuff, let alone what is it? ISP. You see, there's so many to remember. You guys have agencies. We have that too.
Yeah. 126. Okay, there it is. Okay, so this is from Maori. It says, on January 11, 2023, I met with KN General Counsel for the University of Idaho to facilitate the download of video footage from the campus security cameras. Now, that's something we've never seen, is the campus security cameras that I know of.
Right.
And then it says, I previously spoke with blank Director of Infrastructure Services, who had preserved videos to be reviewed for any evidence related to the quadruple homicides at 1122 King Road on November 13th, 2002. I provided the university with a storage device capable of storing large amounts of video. Okay, so that was January 11th. And then January 18th, he received a message stating that the transfer of the videos was complete and the storage device could be picked up. Again, they left the drive there so that their people can download them. And it just seems strange to me. It seems like when there's an investigation, don't the police get that? They get they go there. I mean, you don't just say, okay, here you go, download it.
Yeah. How are they supposed to know that this person's not like just picking and choosing what's going in there? I've even heard of situations where they would just like seize the whole device and do it.
Yeah, that's what I would think. I mean, just like they get the phones,
Yeah.
But he accounts for this, and it's kind of interesting because he says, okay, so he received device. So after he receives the message that the device could be picked up on January 23rd, which is few days later. I retrieved the storage device from N and I returned it to the Moscow police station where a copy of the data was transferred to the server in the secure computer forensic lab. The files were verified by hash value to ensure bit for bit copying was completed. I don't understand how you could verify that bit for bit, and I'm not a tech person, so I don't know. But that was his way of verifying that all of the footage was copied. That was his verification.
Yeah, I mean, when a lot of people want to know why this ended in a plea deal, I think that it becomes quite clear for the prosecution side when you see how some stuff was done. It's like, do we really want to go through the hassle of having to explain how this went? I mean, I don't know. I don't trust the investigation entirely, I have to say. Just my opinion.
And you know, it was put on the secure server in the computer forensic lab. This did not go directly to the FBI. This video surveillance of the campus. So I would be interested in seeing the video surveillance of the campus.
Yeah. I mean, that obviously was just data that they obtained, and they're not saying that they used it for anything. Because, I mean, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, but it's what you don't hear about that sometimes makes you wonder, you know? It's like, what, you know, because the sheriff's office, just recently, I learned the sheriff's office took the dog, I forget, Murphy, took him, and they said he was wandering around in the campus.
Yeah. Murphy was wandering around on the campus.
And I don't know if it's a rumor. I should stop because maybe it's not even true. But there was a 911 call by the shelter, the shelter, the Humane Society, that said there was a call and said, "Oh, I had a dog here that Moscow PD was supposed to pick up, and the sheriffs brought him, and I guess she went on a break. When she came back, the dog was gone, and all of the impoundment paperwork was gone." And there was a whole 911 call about that, and she said they found him at the U of I campus, just roaming around.
What? Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And there was a recording out there, but I saw it on a couple of channels, and you know, I don't know if that was a real recording or not, because you never know now, but you can look into that later and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, send me a link as well. I mean,
yeah.
Wow.
I'll send you the link.
Thank you. The handled evidence. Yeah, I don't know a lot about the OJ case, but I mean,
like, did you seriously? Yeah, seriously. I remember the shoes being taken out on a manila folder in the OJ case. Like, okay, so.
Yeah, it reminds me of how the Oscar Pistorius case went here.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
People forgetting their shoe coverings and stuff.
Yeah. Oscar Pistorius, yeah. Okay, so let me see what the next document is.
Okay. Oh, that's really okay. I skimmed the documents as well. So I was very enthusiastic when MPD ones came out, and I read them all, and then as they came out, I was like, I can't.
The next one would be document 183. Okay. Let me put this bigger. I finally learned how to make the screen bigger so I can see. Okay, so this is Brett Payne, and it's the University of Idaho Office of Civil Rights and Investigations. So now, on Thursday, April 6, 2023, FBI tech specialist provided me with the original OCRI documents received from the University of Idaho. So let me get this straight. So MPD goes and gets these documents that are on a disk, and he lets the people at the university download them. He then gives the thumb drives to the FBI, and that's how it proceeds. And when they get the footage of the campus security, they download it into the secure server. Now, the FBI tech specialist, after he's gone through the documents that were given to the FBI by, the middleman, so he goes, the FBI specialist gives him back the hard drive and two thumb drives. And it says, as these items all contain the same information, I booked them as one item into MPD evidence on Wednesday to be retained as originals. So they got filtered by the FBI. And I don't know why, if they were all working together, why they just couldn't all see them together. I mean, in other words, if they were working as a team, why is it that this information from the university was being placed on drives, given to the FBI, and then all of a sudden the FBI gives them back the information? Yeah. I mean, what did the FBI do with it? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
And why did they have to see it first?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask as well. I mean, and the whole thing, do you think that the whole thing is relating to, I mean, I know that there's footage and there's a specific assault case, but do you think that it's all relating to the same issue?
I mean, I would be guessing, but it seems like it. But it seems that the university there's something to do with the university. Either they were afraid of being liable because of something, or they had notice of a student or a staff member. They had notice of something. And this is before, I mean, so these are things that took place in 2021. So I'm not sure if the university was worried because maybe they had knowledge about someone who was either a staff member or a student that would have committed this, or it's very strange. I have no idea, but I just wanted to point this out because it's something that needs to be pointed out. And it looks suspicious to me, but maybe it's just the way they investigate these things. I don't know.
And it's not necessarily like any of it's happening very early in the investigation either. I mean,
yeah, this is after Kohberger was arrested.
So you kind of wonder, what is the relevance? I mean, could that also somehow lead into an alternate suspect or something? I mean, it's late. It's late in the investigation.
Yeah, and he booked them into evidence. He booked all those things into evidence. So obviously it was in evidence and it was going to be used potentially at trial. Yeah. Let me see. Is there more down there? No.
That's a good one.
Okay.
The Pullman ones are a mess, Sarah. Like, I was trying to look through them and there was body cam and stuff in there and I didn't even understand.
I know.
Found myself staring at a video of a road for a while and then I was no.
Okay, then I guess we go to 192, or was that one 192? No, 192.
Okay. There's 192 for you.
Okay, make it big. So this is now May 2nd, 2023, after Kohberger was arrested. It says on Tuesday, May 2nd, 2023, I received 2 thumb drives from FBI technical specialist TTS, advised the thumb drives contained original documents provided to BAU by the University of Idaho Office of Civil Rights. Office of Civil Rights requests the documents be returned to them when possible. So they got and BAU, I assume, is an initial of somebody?
I don't know, because when it's an initial, then they tend to have the name and a redaction, and then.
So they got more documents from the FBI technical specialist. And if these were just documents, so my point is if these were just documents, why is the technical people involved? Like, is it because it's electronic evidence, maybe? But it just sounds strange to me. And then it says, I booked the items into MPD evidence to be retained as originals until it is deemed appropriate for them to be given back to OCRI. So what are these pictures? Are these originals? Like, I don't understand. Like,
yeah, because I mean, they're like, they're kind of like, can we have our stuff back? So I mean, it doesn't seem like they made copies of it.
So it seems like, but they're on thumb drive. So maybe they're original pictures. I don't know. See, that's what I'm struggling with. And it's interesting to me because I had a case against the university, and they're supposed to be like independent. In other words, like the police should be getting search warrants. They should be looking into, leads or whatever. And perhaps this came about as a lead, and maybe it came through the university, but I don't see any leads. There's so many documents that there could possibly be, a tip from the university that led them to this. But it's a sea of documents. It's like a needle in a haystack to find anything.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of investment in this issue.
Yeah.
And it does sound like whoever LE is, they already have a contact that they coordinate with for this kind of thing. So it feels like, I mean, it's probably not just one of those tips. I mean, I suppose we could look through the tips to find something a little bit more specific.
Yeah, now that I have this, I've gone through this, then I can look at the documents in light of reviewing this the way we've reviewed it, the way we've looked at it. In light of that, then I can go back and look when I have time and see if there's any particular tips that would lead to this type of thing.
Yeah, and I suppose now that ISP documents are out as well, you can look through their investigation and see what prompted them to be interested in this.
Yeah, the time frame, and also look at the time when ISP requested information, and look at the time frame of the tips to see if there was something that prompted them. Because I feel like this is just uncoordinated. I feel like people were getting tips and tips and tips, and they were farmed out to whoever, and it just seems like it was not coordinated. And I don't know why they kept taking Dylan's statement over and over again. They already knew she was, inebriated. They knew that, and they keep taking her statement over and over again. Like, what's going to happen? She was inebriated. Do you think that now her memory is going to be, spectacular?
Right. I mean, also, like, I mean, I don't know if that's entirely fair on her, because I feel like maybe by that point she's going to start feeling that she needs to adjust her story. Yeah. Let me just say it like that.
Okay,
Is
the
this-
next, let me see, the next, I think I have two more, I think. Let me see.
They did have the tip line open until 1 year after the crime was committed.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, then the next one is 218. I think that's the last one that I got to.
I pushed the wrong button. Whoops. Did you say 218?
Uh-huh. Okay, let me make this bigger. Okay, so narrative, U of I documents from General Counsel, Captain Barrett. So this goes back in time to 11/19/2022, where he emailed KN at the U of I Office of General Counsel requesting a list of vehicles with parking permits on campus or had been ticketed between 8/1/22 and 11/13/22. The request was made to assist investigators to locate persons who own vehicles of interest, and they say vehicles of interest, in the ongoing homicide investigation. On 12/8/2022, I received an email from N that contained a spreadsheet showing U of I records for parking passes and parking tickets for any white Elantras, dating back to 2017. The email containing the spreadsheet was forwarded to the investigation team. Okay. Then on 11/30/2022, he emailed KN and requested the rosters for all fraternity and sororities on campus to assist investigators in this case. On 12/8/22, I received an email from N with spreadsheets containing the rosters for all Greek living groups for the fall of 2022 semester. On 12/6/2022, N sent me an email with the spreadsheets containing the individual chapter rosters for Greek organizations on the U of I campus from fall 2019 to fall 2022. I forward that information to the investigative team. Then on 12/12/22, I received an email from KN responding to a request from the FBI. So now she got a request from the FBI, and she's emailing, who is this person that wrote this report? If you scroll up.
This is also Barrett.
Yes, that's right. So the FBI asked for a spreadsheet detailing the following regarding the 6 occupants of the house on 11/23/2022. And then it goes down and it lists, this one specifically lists the information they were requesting. It's all classes, back to the initial enrollment, specific information for each class rosters. And then it said that he forwarded it to the investigation team. And it says on 12/1/2022, I received an email from KN responding to a request from the FBI that contains spreadsheets with data relating to card swipe lock on the U of I. I forward that information to the investigation team. So now they're wanting information on card swipes. And then 12/2/22, I received an email from KN responding to a request from the FBI that contained data relating to the card swipe doors on the U of I campus. This information was forwarded to the investigation team. So again, it sounds like something was going on. They now had the campus security video, and now they want information on card swipes. So I know that means they're investigating something on the campus. And They're now going through the council for the campus, for the university. Then it says on 12/6/22, I received an email from MT with the FBI who was requesting the U of I pay schedule. And it doesn't say pay schedule for what position, or, it doesn't say anything about what it's related to, but it's presumably related to an employee. Then it says, I contacted KN and he emailed me explanation of the pay scale and I forwarded it to T. I don't know who T is, but maybe FBI. And then,
I think, yeah.
I don't know. On 1/17/23, I received an email from KN indicating that the U of I had completed downloading data from their security camera system. So this is how long it took. So 1/17/23, he received an email from KN indicating that the U of I had completed downloading data from their security camera system onto a server that MPD provided. I relayed this information to our forensic detectives and they were put in contact with U of I staff to take possession of the server. So it was actually a server that they left there for people to download the security camera, the security video, and then they picked it up. See, I'm very confused.
Yeah, I can understand why. But it does look like the FBI was speaking to them directly earlier on as well.
And it seems like they were trying to help and coordinate, but it like the first few things were they had a middleman going through it, but it also seems like the FBI then eventually got involved. So it was interesting to me. And why, they obviously suspected something because this is all related to the 1122 King Road. Okay.
Yeah.
And this was before or sometime even after Brian Kohberger was arrested. They continued with.
Yeah.
So it just makes me think of possible alternate perpetrators.
Exactly. Because, I mean, as we said in the beginning, this is not relating to anything to do with Washington State University. So if that were the case and he had already been arrested, then maybe somehow we could say that they were looking into him. But it doesn't seem to be the case at all, especially if they're looking for like pay schedules.
Yeah. And, they did have that one coach that was coaching volleyball, was coaching the volleyball team, the female volleyball team at Idaho State. I mean, at the University of Idaho. And he was eventually let go because he was harassing or being mean to the females, and the females didn't want to go there. I think CJ did a show on that one time.
I remember, yeah. And I mean, I don't remember like the specific time frame of that, but it would be interesting to see if it coincided at all. But I guess you could also consider like the way that students get, I'm sure it's the same for you guys, like they get those positions like teaching assistants and stuff like that, or admin assistants, research assistants.
Yes.
And they're still students, but they receive like a stipend or something.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you're looking into a student, but I mean, that first document or that one of those early documents did say like multiple people in the event that they were looking into.
You mean the
assault? Yeah. It did say it did, didn't it? It said
students.
Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, I wouldn't have noticed any of that, to be honest. Those were kind of the documents I didn't understand. So,
that's what I took from that there was an investigation going on with the University of Idaho, and there might have been an ongoing investigation And the university, of course, wants to make sure that they're not liable for any of this. If they had somebody who was potentially dangerous roaming around, or a faculty member that was, potentially dangerous. And, when the police and the FBI and Idaho State Police, when they're looking for suspects, they could have been looking for a suspect at the university, a teacher, for example. I mean, not that bore out. I mean, but they were looking into it, and then all of a sudden, Brian Kohberger, they got the DNA, the transfer DNA, and they went over there to Pennsylvania, and then he was arrested. But they still were ongoing with that.
Well, I mean, I was watching Bill Thompson. He was interviewed, I think it was like a week ago on East Idaho News or something. And one of the questions that came up that they asked him was, are you certain that he acted alone? And he said that there was no evidence to suggest that there were other people involved. It doesn't mean that there weren't other people involved. And then he said investigators really did look, as in even once they found him, he was kind of implying that they continued looking, like they wanted to make sure that there weren't other people. I don't know if maybe this is what that could be.
Possibly.
But the thing is, I mean, if he had acted with other people, surely there would be evidence, like once they'd taken his phone and stuff, there would be evidence of the planning of that, or some kind of communication with other people where they would at least be able to say that this was some kind of a conspiracy, right? Like legally speaking.
Yeah, I would think that there would be. So, yeah, I think that there would be. And I also think that when Bill Thompson says that they were looking for other suspects, I mean, they did have male blood DNA that they did not test. So it's like they really tried, but
Yeah, look, I mean, when I was going through the new statement of DM, actually no, it wasn't when I was reading it. I was listening to Brian Enton reading it. I can't remember actually reading it, but there was some mention of how before Parents Weekend they cleaned out the house thoroughly.
Deep cleaning of the house.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know that at a crime scene where, there's a lot of traffic and stuff like that, you can expect to see these kinds of things like stuff on the hand railing and things like that. But that kind of really ruled it out if a couple of days before they did like an in-depth clean, and then there still wasn't a need to test that on the railing. I thought that was I'm not surprised that didn't end up in the PCA. That was kind of interesting.
Yeah, because you would think that it would be easier to find stuff that.
Right. I mean, you now have a blank slate to look through, and yeah, they didn't test it.
I mean, they could have figured out who was in the house from the time that they cleaned to the time.
Yeah. Especially if they're saying that they had small gatherings with about 20 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is definitely an interesting case, so I'm still into it.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess even with the guilty plea, there's still so much that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I guess it's like when information is withheld for so long and then there's just like a lot of it. Maybe it's like we don't know what to make of it. And then as we slowly come to terms with everything that's happened, then we can kind of piece it together. But the investigation, I still find it odd. I don't know if it's because I'm foreign and it's maybe different here or.
No, it is odd. I mean, it's there's a lot of breaks in the chain of custody. And when you look at that, it's like, Ann Taylor could have attacked that, the chain of custody. And, when you think about motions to suppress or motions in limine, they had so many breaches. I counted a number of breaches regarding the chain of custody. that when I think about it, the way to do it is you don't, I mean, you'd be bringing motions on every single item. You know what I mean? Every single item that the jacket, Dylan's clothes being sent to her and then returned. Uh,
Right.
there's a lot. And so I think that the way you would do that you would handle it in a trial where you would show the jury that, look, there was a break in the chain of custody. You can't trust it. Uh, and maybe there's a jury instruction on that, that the jury would be instructed on. I'm not sure because I don't practice criminal law like that. But yeah, very interesting. And then he just pled. It was a surprise to everybody.
Yeah, it really was. Because I mean, there were rumors of a plea deal, and every time I heard that, I was like, "Whoa, no," because I mean, Ann Taylor was out there saying she believes he's innocent, but I don't know. Is that something they usually say? I mean, I've never seen
Well,
it before.
I when she says it, it's technically not. She's not lying because you are innocent until you are proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
Oh,
So he is innocent, but she sounded like she meant it. In other words, she sounded like she believed it. She didn't say, he's innocent until he's proven guilty. He is
mhm.
innocent. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
she could have qualified it, but she said, he is innocent. That's how she said it. So
yeah, yeah. I mean, it was unexpected, and like a lot of people still don't believe that he's guilty. Like, just like
well,
I understand. I understand. Like, you've spent a lot of time questioning it, and then for it to turn around and make like an about turn like that, I do get it. But at the end of the day, like, you can't tell him that he doesn't know. You know what I
right?
mean? Yeah.
He pled. I mean, it's I don't know, and maybe, the appeal. I don't think he's going to appeal within the 42 days.
Okay.
But I don't know. He might surprise us, but I don't know. I don't think he's going to appeal. But there's also post conviction relief, which is something that happens way later, or can happen beyond the 42 days. And I don't know much about that, but I know the Menendez brothers. Uh, they had some new evidence come out, and that's what prompted this whole revisiting of. And I don't know if you're familiar with the Menendez brothers.
Not very much. I mean, I've seen the name around. I know there's a documentary I've been meaning to watch, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It's interesting because they unalived their parents,
yeah.
shot them, and then acted like they came home from a movie and something happened. They didn't know what happened.
Right.
Uh, Eventually, they were caught, and they were caught because their therapist allowed a third party to listen in their conversations, and that
Mhm.
third party told the police because she was scared for the therapist. She thought that they were going to that the boys were going to do something to the therapist. And then there was a whole fight about therapy, patient privilege, that privilege that. And so it was a nightmare. They claimed they were SA'd by their parents, and so anyway, so they were sent to prison for life. But new evidence came out in the way of a letter that was found from one of their cousins or somebody that said that a letter that was written to the cousin, and then the cousin wrote a letter back about the essay that they were suffering in the house. And so this was found in a box because now this cousin had unalived himself. I believe, yeah, he deleted himself, and it was partly due to the guilt that he felt about what happened to the Menendez brothers. At least that's the short version of the story. I could have a few details incorrect, but that's what that was about. And so now they're up for parole. So this was done in post conviction relief, because obviously the time to appeal is gone. They already exhausted all their appeals, by the way. They had
Okay.
already.
So they hadn't pled guilty.
No, they were convicted.
Okay. Okay, but I mean, in the same vein as that, like if new evidence were to come out, I don't know, something just to do with Idaho 4, like it were to come out later, does that change things? I mean,
It could, but again, the whole reason, and this one of the things that Hitler said was that, yeah, the DNA on the handrail, well, that doesn't prove your client is innocent.
no.
It just proves that there might have been other people involved. So she tries to do this alternative suspect motion, and then he makes his ruling that it's hearsay. It's irrelevant because we know the person drove a white Elantra to the scene. And I'm like, no, we don't know that. but all that's waived. So
Yeah. I mean, other than that, he would appeal on, I don't know, how does that work? Ineffective assistance of counsel is something people have mentioned a lot.
yeah, he can. But one of the things that will defeat that is when the judge asked him, "Are you happy with your counsel? Do you feel like your counsel was effective?" And he said yes. So it's going to be hard. And the only thing I can think of is that he did have a psychiatric disorder. He had OCD. And he had autism, but autism isn't so much point. But the obsessive compulsive disorder, it is a psychiatric disorder. And so I would have thought that the judge would have asked him, like, are you aware that you've been diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder? And he would say, yes. Is that affecting your ability? Is that affecting you here today, affecting your plea agreement or affecting your decision to plead guilty? No. And then ask him about each disorder, because, he has OCD. You're aware, because what if he says, no, I'm not aware that I was diagnosed as you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And I think that would be a further check, to make sure the plea sticks and he doesn't come back around and say, well, I had OCD and I wasn't asked. And he asked me if I was a sound mind and I thought I was. But it just would have made it cleaner.
Yeah, because I mean, I guess as well, to counter that, like if they ask him, is this condition affecting your plea? I don't, he could even come back later if that had been asked and say that I didn't know if it was because I have the condition, right? I mean, yeah, it's difficult. It is a difficult one to, I guess, to get your head around.
Yeah, and so that's pretty much what we were going to talk about today. Huh?
Yeah, no, and we did exceed an hour, which I was hoping.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, and I think you know what? I think we should. I'm gonna follow up on some of these things. Okay, I wrote the biggest that Murphy went missing because that was.
Oh yeah, I'll send you the link to that.
Thank you. Yeah, and the Civil Rights Department and all of that, I'm gonna look into again. And if you want to do a follow up, sure.
Yeah,
definitely. And that's really interesting. Yeah, definitely. I want to see if we can find out more about that actual incident.
Especially in light of the fact that Mr. Gonsalves was mentioning about the university. I don't know, he was mentioning some things about the university is. I don't actually remember what he said, but he was concerned about the university, and this was after Brian Kohberger pled guilty. So I took a renewed interest in this university thing. And like I said, I had a case against the university at UCI, University of California, Irvine, and it involved the selling of body parts that were donated to the university for research.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was involved in that case, and it is difficult to get anything. I mean, we would have like 8-hour discovery hearings. Like, we had to have a private discovery referee, and there was a bunch of people involved, and this was gross. It was just, they were selling spines and driving them to Arizona, and So I
Okay.
know, so I know a little bit about the university litigation and when university council gets involved. The next step would have been if the university hired private counsel, then that would have been interesting. And, but I don't see anything that they hired private counsel. It was all
Okay.
counsel from the university.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, happy birthday, Rosie. Is it your birthday?
Yes. Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Pantomime. I don't know why it's not, or it is showing the comments on the screen. Streamyard's being a little funny today. But thank you. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, I would definitely like to do a follow-up on all of this. I'm gonna look into it some more, and you can let me know as well when you get a chance. I'm interested in this assault that took place.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if there was an assault and it was somebody that was either worked for the university as a staff or a student, and they had knowledge of it through this investigation, and let's say the student still stuck around in a private apartment, even though they may have been kicked out of a fraternity or, I don't know. It's just speculation, nothing.
No, of course. I did a video like maybe about a year ago on the similarities in this case and the Jews lacrosse.
Yes, I remember
team.
that.
Yeah, and I mean it's a similar thing. There was a lot of strange stuff going on with the DNA, and I mean that was a case where in the end it was found that those boys that were accused hadn't actually even done anything. But I mean, if you're interested in that case, the stuff around the DNA was crazy. It was really, really weird. I think there's some good documentaries about the case on YouTube as well.
But I do remember that video that you did. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a similar accusation. I mean, it was multiple students being involved in something like that. Thank goodness it wasn't true, though.
Right. She recanted after. Right.
Yeah, she had some difficulties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, it'll be in a few weeks. I needed some time to go over everything, but I just wanted to point that out about the university.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining today as well. It was really good to talk to you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll send you the link to the Murphy. And honestly, now that I think about it, the Murphy video or audio, it may have been tampered with. I don't know, but I'll send it to you anyway, just so you can hear it.
Yeah, I'd love that. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, I will be talking to you later.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. Bye.
No problem. Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.
All right. I'm going to end the stream now. It's been a good 1.5 hours. And I think I'm going to try and come back tomorrow. I know you guys, I know I haven't been around in a while. Some of you guys have been letting me know that you're getting unsubscribed and not getting notifications and all of that. So I'm definitely going to try and get back into it. I might see you tomorrow. And I hope that everybody has a beautiful evening. Bye.